UAH President Dawson says the university has taken corrective actions after an officer made some out-of-line comments to a teenage driver. But the university still has not said if the officer has actually been disciplined. President Dawson also said he met with the young driver who was pulled over and his parents to apologize and see how they can improve going forward. 2 weeks ago, 17-year-old Caleb Crutcher was pulled over for an apparent cracked taillight by a UAH campus police officer. In a detailed Facebook post by Caleb's mother, Shonda, she says the officer then asked if he had drugs or a dead prostitute in the back of his car. UAH says they will add more training for officers and review current policies. To read more about their action plan, go to rocketcitynow.com.